Hey there. So we are multiplying a half times a half, and probably you know this is a fourth. Someone has probably told you that you just simply multiply the numerators, 1 times 1 is 1, and multiply the denominators, 2 times 2 is 4. But the question is, why does that work? Why why do they why do we just multiply everything? So one way to think about it is to think of 1 half times 1 half as 1 half of 1 half. Okay, we were doing half of a half. And if you had half a candy bar and gave half of it to somebody, you'd have a fourth of a candy bar left. Here's a picture to show what that means. So I'm going to draw a square here. There's my square. It's a slow motion square. All right, so if I break that in half, I'll color it for you. So half my square is yellow, right? But if I'm only talking half of this half a square, I'm going to break the yellow half in half. And what's left there, half of that half, is, if you look at the whole big square, that little square is just 1/4 of it. So when I took half of a half, I got a fourth. Makes sense? I could also show this on a number line. So here's my number line with 0 and 1. The half is right there. So if I think of 1 half times 1 half, half of a half, or halfway to the half, halfway to that half is right there. And if you look at the whole number line, you can probably see that that is 1/4 of the way across. So halfway to 1 half, you stop at 1/4. There is one last way that you may see people show this. Lots of times they'll shade in a box like this or a rectangle, and they'll shade it with one color halfway. There's my half going across. And if I take a different color and do halfway going down, the places where those two halves overlapped, that's the answer to my multiplication problem. And there it is, that fourth again. So there you have it. A half times a half is a fourth. Hopefully that makes sense. See ya.